Good damn morning and shit. It's 8 o'clock Pacific time. I woke up extra early this morning because I had a great experience. My grandmother, who we all know has passed on, literally visited me. And with this visit, she was, of course, we couldn't see her right away. Well, I couldn't see her right away. Yeah, none of us could. But we spent some time in a car in front of the house. And I think the dog was a golden retriever. I think. Because he acted a lot like the dog that we had years ago. So he may have come back in a golden retriever. I don't know. But he had the same personality, the same actions, except he was bigger and the gold and full of fur. But I remember walking up the steps and I had a backpack. I walked up the sidewalk. I hit that first step and I couldn't do it. I felt so much hurt and anger for her leaving me. My mom literally had to pull me up and help me up the rest of the steps to the house. And both doors were unlocked and slightly open, which was weird because her house was never left unlocked, and especially the doors open. So I took a step back, and my brother said he did it. He said he did it the day before. I don't know why, but I was just visiting. And the living room of the house was not the way she kept it. At first there was no furniture in the house. Then slowly she had this grayish, bluish couch. It was like a steel gray with a hint of blue. I love that couch. That appeared. And then she had like a love seat or another couch directly across from where the other couch was, which I chose to sit on the floor. I literally started seeing all of her furniture start to reappear in the house. And the funny thing is, the bedroom that I had, I didn't go to it, but it looked like I was looking through the wall. I wasn't physically there, I was spiritually there. So that makes a lot of difference. So she was talking with us, joking with us, and she honestly seemed happy. You know, she was very at peace. She had a lot of joy. So she's happy. But I mean, It was like this metal and glass table, and she had a lamp sitting on it. And it was funny because the lamp was closest to the door where the couch used to be. But the couch was put in front of the fireplace, which for my grandmother, that doesn't make any sense. But, you know, she wasn't physically there. At first, for me, it was like a dream. But I could feel her presence and being pulled spiritually from my body. Yep, that'll wake you up in the morning. Um, but it made sense because the first time was not her. It was something wearing her body. This time it was her. Because when I started seeing her, she hugged me. And it was funny because she whispered in my right ear, "I came to you first." And she turned towards my mom, and my mom was asking, "Where is she?" And I kept saying, "Right in front of you." And that's when my mom started to cry, but my grandmother showed herself to my mom and then hugged my mom. So, and then it was my brother, and then it was my sister. She slowly started to materialize for all of us. But it was odd how she chose me first. And what she said once she was back in solid form is, I chose to project to him first, or materialize to him first, because I know he needed me the most, and he's gifted. I felt her when I walked in. But it's funny how she wouldn't be in her last dwelling, because I don't think she really liked it. It cramped her style. So she went back to the last place we were all together, but my sister was there. So my sister never saw the house, to my knowledge. So yep, that'll get you going. So it's odd to me how it would be on the couch, sister, mother, brother, me on the floor, but I was between, it looked like I was between another piece of furniture and the couch. Because I was able to kind of feel like I was sitting in the corner against something. So it might have been one of her other couches. I don't know. I was not focusing on that. I was focusing on her. And my grandmother was not one to wear dark colors, but I do remember her having on white socks, fitting jeans, and a black t-shirt. But it kind of changed at some point into a flowery blouse So she had her hair up in a bonnet because that was just my grandmother. She protected her hair. And she was just laughing and joking. And what I picked up from her is that she is perfectly content. She is happy. She is okay. So later on, she started laying on the couch across from the gray one. And she said, "Oh, I have to get up because either her, I think the couch was starting to hurt her hip, which I've experienced when, it doesn't have enough support." So she got up and, no, before that, I'm sorry. She was laying flat on her back, but she had her head turned towards all of us. But I don't think it had enough support because it started hurting her. So she got up, and I was going to tell her, "You know what I do in this situation?" And she was just like, mm. So I got quiet. And so she went into the first bedroom, which is the bedroom I had. And she came out with a heating pad. Well, not a heating pad. It's like, how do I explain this? My mom had it. And I knew that it belonged to my mom. Because it had two blue handles and it had beads in it that you could literally put in the microwave. And on the handles, it looked like a giant sock. And the sock was white, and it had beads in it. Who thought of that? I don't know. But anyway, I don't know if she heated it up or just put it under her hip area for support. But she came out holding it by both handles. And I was facing the window. Now, my grandmother had a huge bay window in her living room. And thank God that thing was tinted because you could get some serious light with that thing. And she was swinging it just enough to hit my bun, but not hit me in the head. And I started laughing, and as I turned my head, I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she stopped, and she went to go lay back down. And she was laying on her right side so she can face us. And that's pretty much all I can remember, all that I took away from it. But as we left, or as we were getting ready to leave, she was hugging us. And, the furniture started to disappear. And she told me, "Anytime you need me, I'm not too far away. I'm always with you." And she went to me first, then went to my mom, then went to my brother, then went to my sister. It's like she was keeping it in order. And that was my grandmother. She kept everything in order. She literally believed to keep everything in its place, everything in order. And that's what she was doing with us. She came to me first, then my mom, then my brother, then my sister. And the funny thing she said, oh my gosh, because it was funny, because she was sitting on the couch across from the gray one. And she told my sister that she always comes to her in a dream, but my sister doesn't say anything. And my sister does not have big lips. So the funny thing is, she told my sister, I'm always coming to you in a dream, but you don't say anything to the family. She said, why don't you use your big lips and open your mouth and say it? And then that's when she leaned forward and turned to the left. She said, huh? That was hilarious because that's her exact reaction to certain things. But she had us all laughing, all of us. It was like being at a comedy show hosted by my grandmother. That was hilarious. But, I think that her time to visit us was coming to an end because we all stood up, the furniture was starting to disappear, and the way the living room looked, it's like it had, you know, paper scattered, grocery bags. And I'm like, this is not the way you keep your house. But I had to remember she no longer lived there. So it was very odd to me to see her house that way. But at the same time, I had to understand it. It looked like she was in the process of moving out. That's what it honestly looked like. She was in the process of moving out. hmm So, in the last time she moved, we were moving into a desert. Why? I don't know. I literally have no idea why we would move to a desert. You know, I just don't. But anyway, that's the last time she moved. Now, we are not a group of people that move every year, every 6 months. For me, well, actually, for all of us, it's too much work. And nobody in this group is going to do all of that every 6 months or every year. It's just not going to happen. We are not. I'm going to leave that right there. hmm Sorry, I heard something ticking in my kitchen. I don't know what it was, but I will definitely get up and go check um, in a few moments. But I never. Okay, so we did walk out, and the wooden door and the security door were both closed and locked. That is so interesting to me. You don't pay rent. I do. We're just gonna leave that right there. No, I don't have rats or mice. I don't have bugs either. So you can let that thought go. Um, and I don't have any other things that are small in my house. Okay? Thank you. And no, I don't have no pets. So we left. And it's funny because my brother is the only person, well, yeah, he's the only person that has an older big body vehicle. Those aren't for me. No, ma'am. No, sir. But it looked like it was this car was an El Camino. As far as I know, nobody in this group has ever owned an El Camino. I'm just saying. That's what the car looked like. But yeah, listen, I can't drive no El Camino and just have that one bench seat. I got to have room for my legs because I got long legs. And I need to have room away from the pedals. And the El Camino don't move like that. I need something that's going to give me room for my tree trunks I call legs. Anyway. But it was that was an experience that I will never forget. To me, that gave me a sense of closure, as well as my grandmother letting me know that she's content, she's happy, she's at peace. I mean, my grandmother has always been a happy person, unless she was upset or angry, which didn't happen often. But she always was smiling, she was always happy, and she had such joy in her heart and such happiness in her heart. It was, I can't even explain it. I really can't. She always put family first, and that came with a cost. It was, especially if you were asking something of her, oh my God. It came with a lecture. But I remember, and this was before we left, there was something going on with her financially, which just didn't happen. It really didn't. My grandmother was financially well to do, and she was not hurting or wanting for anything. I mean, when you have an American Express black card, you have arrived. And she had the black one, the blue one, I think the green one too. So my grandmother was very well set. But there was something going on financially where it involved a doctor or a doctor's office. And I don't remember the details because there were no details spoken, but either she couldn't pay the doctor's office or she couldn't. It was something financially having to do with the doctor's office. And honestly, my grandmother had the money to buy a few homes. I'm just saying. But, and no, not the tiny ones. I'm talking about homes. Tall, wide, deep, well, long, whatever. But I don't know what could have been going on with her financially. But I know my mother and brother were whispering about it, and I couldn't hear, maybe because I didn't want to hear it. Okay, the oven is not on. There are no burners on. What is going on here? I don't know. But that's the pretty dramatic thing. That's only the dramatic thing that happened. But I did get a chance to see and talk to and hug my grandmother. which I think I needed because I feel very alone, and I've come to grips with that. I'm just going to be alone for the rest of my life, and that's okay. So I really needed her. And I got a chance to not only see and talk to her, but I got the chance to hug her. And let me tell you, when I hugged my grandmother, I wanted to just let go of everything. That's, my grandmother is my strength. And right now, I am so exhausted. I have nothing left to give. Right now, work life, home life, the only thing that's keeping me going, I feel, is rage. My body is tired. So, having one of my grandmother's hugs, it really affected me in a very positive way because I know she's never far. But she's not physically here. So when she left, she took everything I had in me with her. Literally. So, her hugs let me know that I'm still loved, at least by her. Because as of Monday night, Wednesday morning, I no longer have a family. So when my grandmother passed, there went my family. So I'm literally alone. Looking back, I was born alone. I wasn't wanted. There was a division that my grandmother created between my brother and I. And even after she passed, it was carried on. And then I was put into comparison with my brother. So, I guess to the rest of them, I just don't matter. I don't exist. I've come to grips with that. I was literally told some years ago my mom didn't want a second child. So my question is, why would you keep me then? You could have left me on a church doorstep. You could have signed over your rights and put me up for adoption. Why would you keep something you don't want? I don't know. I honestly don't know. So, I guess that's it. My father didn't want me. My mother didn't want me. So, I grew up in a bunch of lies. And now that I'm grown and on my own, it's starting to show a lot more that I wasn't wanted. But that's okay. I don't have to lie to people. But everybody gets to lie to me. That's great. But yet, I would be wrong if I packed up and moved to a different state. This was not supposed to be that kind of video. I'm sorry. It turned into that. So, I will edit the name and I will move on with my day. Because now I know the truth. I have to accept it and move on. And who knows, maybe one day I'll have a family. But I'm not having any kids. Oh no. No. I can't tolerate children. The noise, the screaming, the messes, the drawing on the walls. Oh my gosh. I can't handle it. I won't. So, my father's name, hopefully, well, since he has other children, I can't say will end with me. Because he's one of those that can't keep his dick in his pants. As we all know. I've never met those children. They never looked for me. I had a cousin, uncle, brother, whatever he is in that family, had his number. I text him, he won't text me back, so he can go fuck himself. I'm truly alone, and that's okay. Because instead of destroying me, it's going to make me stronger. But thank you both for not wanting me. Thank you both. I grew up in lies, no truth. I'm good. Everybody have a good motherfucking fantastic phenomenal fucking day. I know I'm gonna be